Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So, preparing for TOEFL is not much different than preparing for IELTS because, to be honest, more than preparing for the exam, you need to understand the structure of the exam because exams like these, they have a particular type of repeating questions, right? For example, if you start with the reading passage, although there are going to be 3 to 4 different passages throughout your reading section, but the 10 questions in each of those passages would follow a particular pattern. So once you start practicing and you start understanding these patterns, it would become very easy for you to answer the question. And reading, you will get around 72 minutes, and after reading comes listening. So reading, you need to make sure you take your time because although you will be graded for 3 passages, but you will get 4 passages which you will have to answer within time. And a trick that I used for reading in my exam was uh, you're gonna probably be given a very long passage. So the way you highlight the point is to read the introduction, 3 lines of the introduction, and every passage you just read the first 2 lines because those 2 lines will probably highlight is whatever is the most important part in the passage. The reason this is important is because you will definitely get a 2 marks question at the end of every passage where you are going to be asked to summarize the important points in the passage, and that comes for 2 marks. And I have never got both the marks because I always make one mistake. But make sure you get at least 3 points right out of 9. You will have to put in 6 points, but make sure you get at least three so that you get one. Uh, I'll just share the breaking of the time limit and the marks in the chat so that you guys can have a look. For listening, my advice to you is literally just listen. It's going to be literally very simple. You are allowed to write stuff down. Only one advice would be do not write sentences down because it's going to take up your time. It is meaningless. Listen to the sentence, highlight the 1 or 2 important words. The lecture is this passage that you're going to listen to is probably going to be a class lecture, maybe like on a history lecture or maybe on a biological research or something, right? So they are going to be very specific terms also. They won't ask you questions on that. The question is mostly going to be general about what are the teachers' opinions and stuff. So just write the main words down. Do not write sentences down, and just listen. Listening is very easy, and it's one of the most scoring parts of book. So make sure you get this very right. So after speaking and listening, you will get like a break of 10 minutes to whatever you want to. I don't know. And after that, we it comes to speaking. Because the reason why I said this because you're gonna be pretty much stressed. The time I gave my exam was at night about 11 or 12. I started and I gave till morning 4 o'clock because that is the time I felt most peaceful without the traffic honking and then a dog barking in my neighbor. So if you're giving from home, this is one of the biggest advantage you're gonna have in TOEFL is you can select your time. It can be any time in the day, but you need to make sure that you find a time where you are comfortable to sit for a long time, right? So reading and listening is the first part of the exam, and then comes the second part that is speaking and writing. Speaking for me, honestly, I always felt like I was reading because whenever I was giving practice exams, also my marks weren't up to them. You have 30 marks for each section, 4 sections, that is 120 marks, right? So even out of 30, if you can score a 25 in each and every section, that's 100 marks for you. That is easy, right? Reading, it is very easy to score 25 on an average. Listening, you are gonna get 27, 28 because as I said, it's more scoring. Now, when you come to speaking, in speaking, you're gonna give 4 tasks, different tasks. The first one is going to be a random topic is going to be put on the screen. You will get 15 seconds to prepare, and then you got to speak for 45 seconds. That's your first task. Second task is you are going to be given a paragraph to read and also opinion to hear. And after you heard the opinion, there's going to be a question on the screen. Probably like, do you agree with the teacher or not, or whether this system should be implemented in the school or not, something like that. So you get 2 of those, one topic speaking, and the last one is, I guess, lecture summarization. So these are your 4 tasks in speaking. For speaking, my point is going to be the same as Ishali. Please do not and do not pause. Rather, I would say speak slow. Think each and every word before speaking. Speak slow. There is no time limit to what speed you speak, and they are not gonna pay much attention to your content. It's a speaking test, so they're gonna listen to how you speak, right? The way you modulate your speech and the way your speech delivery is that also fetches you marks. If you just read out a line that you have in head and you speak it out in a particular fashion, imagine as if you're talking to someone when you speak. That is what I'm saying. And for writing, there are two tasks that you're going to get. The most important one is the second one, which is the free essay one. This is where you can score marks in writing. The way you do it is, I'm telling you, the easiest way to manage time is first write an outline. Do not go by starting from introduction. You write the entire introduction, then you write the first para, then second and third. Don't do that. It's going to be tough to manage time. It's going to be tough for you to come up with new points. What you rather do is you go with the introduction, a basic general idea of the introduction. Come to the first paragraph. Write the main idea of what your first paragraph is going to consist. What is the first point to support your idea? Your topic is generally going to be, for example, mobile phones have done more harm than good, right? Either you can support it or you can deny. Mostly it's going to be of this type. So think why you support the idea. Write the first point, move on to the second paragraph. Why you think what is the second point to support the idea. Write about that, move on. Put one introduction paragraph, 3 body passages, and 1 conclusion passage, right? So 3 lines in introduction you have, 2 lines for 3 passages, that is 6 lines, and 3 lines conclusion you have. This is going to take you minimum 15 minutes. Maximum 15 minutes. That's it. Trust me, only in 15 minutes, you're going to have a structured outline of your essay and you have a basic idea. Now go back to the introduction. Now, maybe you had just written introduction that I feel mobile phones have done more harm than good. This maybe you have written in the first 15 minutes, right? Now go back to the introduction. Since you're typing and go back to that, just go back and write. We have come a long way from wired telephone devices. Now mobile phones are using. It's just expanded. That's all you got to do. Make the introduction 10 lines. Come to the next paragraph. Expand the 2-3 lines of paragraph highlight that you have into 10 lines. Right? Each paragraph start expanding it slowly and slowly. If you have practice, or if you have 1 month of practice, you can do this thing within 30 to 40 minutes, easy. And you will have a 500-word essay in front of you. Each paragraph having about 10 sentences, 5 paragraphs, 500. I personally wrote a 512-word essay in my TOEFL, and I got a 29 on it. This is how I do it. It's very easy to do this. But this is my biggest take from it. And the most motivating thing about you guys would be if I could do it, any one of you could. That is the most you can take from it.
If they don't get it, what are you going to do?
They will get it, ma'am. It's very big. See, TOEFL was meant for students who are non-native English speakers, right? Most of us have had English as a first language in school since childhood. So we have a very big advantage in that. If it was like a GRE English test, I wouldn't have said like that. I was like, yeah, study. You need to study. TOEFL is easy.
Okay, good. You do, I mean, if you can, share some of the website that you have practiced or used to practice, can you share in the chat box? Then people can learn too. Yes?
Actually, I only practice from this one website. It gives you limited free time for 1 month only. Also, even my free session expired. I was trying to log in, but here you have what is the main thing is you have section test, right? Like you can take reading test differently, speaking differently, listening, writing differently, right? For
How much,
example,
how
sorry,
much it costs to,
it is free for a particular for 1 month or so, and then it costs some.
oh,
Yeah.
so it's your practice 1 month.
Yeah, it's 1 month is enough. The VMMC, for example, when I was going for my TOEFL, I had practiced way more writing exams than speaking because I had already realized that speaking I will get less marks. I had the feel. I wanted to improve those marks in writing. So you can go through the section test. That is the best thing about it. You don't have to sit through the 6-hour full 4-paragraph test for 4 section test every time you practice. Practice whatever you think is strong. Whatever you think you're not going to get marks in, it's okay. It's all right. You don't have to worry about that. Try to figure out where you can easily and in a fast. So that's how you prepare it.
Okay, so now tell everybody what's your experience with EduCare Taiwan.
Thing, ma'am, that meeting with ma'am where my father and me went to ma'am's house, ma'am actually literally convinced my dad that dad actually thought of an opening to let go. So after that, I got admission and everything went smoothly. But because ma'am convinced why you should go to Taiwan. See, I for myself had gone to Taiwan previously, right? So I had seen the country with my own eyes, and I personally knew it was good for me. But my dad had never been to Taiwan, and so is the case with a lot of people. So when you come up to say you go to Taiwan, it's not a very common space. People go to US, Canada, UK. So you come to say you want to go to Canada, like yeah. When you say you're going to Taiwan, like huh, Taiwan, why? So in that way, ma'am has helped my dad convince my dad. My ma'am has convinced me why I should, you know, why I should pay attention to not like the university ranking or stuff like that, but stuff like which professor I am studying under and what I really want to study for. Because the first time I met with ma'am, also, I remember I had to explain ma'am actually what cybersecurity is, what I want to do and stuff. But the next meeting I had, ma'am had already researched everything up. She came up, she talked about cybersecurity. She came up with this professor has done this is research, see. And so you could see the efforts that they were literally putting to get you somewhere. So that actually